This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome to Silent Witness, the cold case pod the pod that dives into cold cases and true crime.
Yes.
And so today we're doing a couple firsts, Christina.
Yes.
So first time live
Yes.
with this massive
I
audience.
know. There's so many. I can't.
I just can't even. Thank God for the lights. Thank God. Look at that. And also, you're letting me tell a story today.
Yes.
This
I've been
is
trying to get you to.
So you say.
I have.
Okay. Anyway, so I found one that is a current event, which is different for us. Usually we dive into what we were doing in the 80s earlier this week.
Yeah.
So this one is current. This is the story of Suzanne Simpson.
Yes.
She's recently missing, and she is a 51-year-old lady, mother of 4, and really caught my attention because we have the same day job. She is a real estate agent.
Yes.
And so the scary thing, I mean, people think what you will about realtors or whatever, but we really do have a job that puts us in a vulnerable position more often than you would anticipate, I guess, especially in Central Texas, where I could be out showing a house, with 100 acres, and the nearest house is still 300 acres away. Yeah. It puts us in not great position. And so in the real estate community, her story just shot.
Yeah.
It was shared. I don't even know how many. I saw several friends share it.
It's national.
And it's national. But this is a big story, and she was reported missing. And so everybody's first instinct or thought was that she was out on her job, and something happened when she was showing a house. Something happened with some unknown stranger, but plot twist.
Yep.
Her husband is arrested.
Yes.
So I just want to look at this because we've talked a lot, and I know you're going to get into it in a minute, but a lot of our stories that we've shared, a lot of our episodes are really about, they kind of have some DV aspect to them.
Yes, a lot of them have, and we'll get into.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So for Suzanne, she is still missing. If you do live in the San Antonio area, on Sunday, October 6th, she and her husband, Brad Simpson, attended a party at the Argyle, which is some hoity-toity, fancy little dinner club.
Mm-hmm.
And they got in a fight at the party.
Yeah.
And then they got in a fight later that evening. So a neighbor came forward and did tell people that they were fighting at the house sometime between 10 and 11 p.m. that night. And then...
Yeah, I think they were outside, right?
He just said he could hear them and that it looked like she was trying to get away and Brad Simpson was pulling her down.
Right.
And then the neighbor is quoted as saying he was clearly attempting to keep Mrs. Simpson from running away.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go on to say that he went outside. So good neighbor. They went outside to see what was going on and then heard 2 or 3 screams from a brushy area east of his home. And then about an hour later saw Brad get in his black GMC pickup and drive off.
Yes.
And so these things are scary to me. It's just, you don't know what to expect. But then it always ends up being the husband.
Right.
And we've done this a lot lately, I think.
Yeah. I mean, when somebody's murdered, the police obviously look inside and go out for a reason because 90% of the time it's going to be somebody close to them. It's very rarely, the creeper behind in the child molester van.
Sure.
It's not stranger. Most of the time it is,
That's why those closest to you are usually the initial suspects.
Mm-hmm.
Or people of interest.
Yes.
And then the kids the next day. So that was a Sunday, October 6th. And then on the 7th, The kids were not picked up from school.
Right.
And he went and picked them up when the school called him to do that. But then he didn't tell the police or report her as missing until 10 o'clock that night.
Right.
I don't understand that thought process.
You
Do you
know,
think he was trying to look innocent? Like, I'm just going to wait for the school to call me and I'll be so shocked when she's missing.
that, or he was doing his best to hide something? And
Oh, like taking time, like taking the time.
yeah, it's not an easy job to do something with a body.
Is this personal experience talking?
No.
No. So you've also mentioned that you always say that people start like on the inside and look out.
Yes.
But this one was quick. I feel like this was like almost immediate that he was.
Well, there's a witness. And
Yeah.
so, once, he reported her missing, when was he arrested?
I'll have to look at the timeline.
Yeah.
I know that they got the warrant on the 9th of October. So that's just 2 days later.
Right.
And then he's held on that stupid high bond of $1 million.
Yes. In the beginning, yes.
Mhm.
Which is
beginning.
very, very unusual for a misdemeanor. He was arrested for 2 misdemeanors.
Mm-hmm.
And you usually get $1,000 bond on those. And that's, $1 million is
It's crazy.
That's very good, I think.
Oh, because it'll keep him in
It'll
jail.
keep him in there. And then, they were wealthy people.
Yeah.
And, there is
So there's means.
yeah. So, once ATF hit him with the warrant.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, they found
he's
the
got a
illegal
federal hold.
firearm.
Yeah. So they apparently searched the house, correct?
Mm-hmm. They searched the house and found that. And
Yeah.
so ATF was like, we got dibs.
You have a sawed off, you're gonna.
Oh, yeah. It was a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah. So
Or a short barrel.
yeah. So even if he were to make that high bond, because now it's $2 million, they raised it,
Mhm,
which
they did.
is typical in any case. Judges can raise bonds, but it's now $2 million. So if he were to bond out, then he's not getting out because he's got a federal hold.
Yeah. Well, they canceled the bond hearing on the 15th
Right.
because federal came in and said,
Yeah. Because even if
don't waste your time.
if they reduce it, they're going to have to eventually do something
Mm-hmm.
as far as the misdemeanor charges.
Sure.
But since he's got the federal hold, they got more time now.
You know what I didn't see, and I don't know if you saw it, but how did they even come up with the family violence,
The witness.
the charges?
The
The
witness.
witness saying, oh, I saw
I
this.
saw him, put hands on her. So
Mhm.
the witness, that's how it happens a lot of times in these family violence. Because if you think of a family violence, you're going to have one person saying one thing and another person saying the other thing.
Right.
But when you have witnesses, that's what you go with.
Then you've got a little more credibility to the he
Yes.
said, she said.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is crazy interesting to me because I totally thought this case was going in one direction and then it just whoop.
Yeah. And then, they're doing tons of searches. They searched a
They searched the
landfill.
landfill, but
several
called that
days.
off
Called that off. They're back in
Mhm.
the woods now where
They
they have
are.
the screams.
by the park. Almost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So-
probably butchering that.
And I'm sure at this point they're also looking at cell phone records,
Mm-hmm.
pings, GPS. I think the GPS led them to the landfill. So,
Right.
it takes time to get those. You have to get judges to sign warrants. You have to give them to legal at cell phone companies. It
Mhm.
takes time.
You
You don't
know-
get that stuff quick.
Well, and you know that usually I'm pretty nitpicky on LEOs and I'm law enforcement agencies, and I think they drag their feet and they make some really bonehead mistakes. It seems like from what they share with the public, sometimes they don't paint themselves in the best light. But this one moved really pretty quickly, I think.
Right.
Like they were on top of it. What is it? San Antonio PD.
It's it's Bexar County, San
Mhm.
Antonio. You've got Texas Rangers are involved.
Mhm.
DPS.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they've got resources. ATF is now involved, which
Right.
has tons of resources. So hopefully they'll use those resources and do their best to get these warrants, get these because criminals aren't that bright. They don't know to turn their cell phone off when they're hiding bodies.
I love how you always say that. Like, turn off your phone. Don't be dumb.
I mean, come on now.
Maybe we should
Sure.
advise people not to kill people. But
Well,
you know,
yeah, don't kill people, but
but this could segue into how to bury a body. I don't know. I've got ideas and land.
Ooh.
What do we
That
do?
could make you mad.
No, don't.
No, I'm kidding.
It's good. What? Oh.
Hogs.
or large animals
Yes,
that hide.
yes.
We got that. Okay, so this one is ongoing. So usually we will.
Yeah, we'll try to update.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the family's still hopeful she's hiding out somewhere, but she's been gone all this time. She's not hiding.
Well, and like we were saying earlier, he's in jail. She knows all these law enforcement people are around and taking care of her. And God, I would want to see my kids.
Yeah, and
If I knew he was in jail and that I was
Yeah.
physically safe, I'd want my babies.
that's hopefully I'm wrong that she's okay.
Mason.
I apologize.
Hey, I'm like,
Well,
we can't see you,
I
honey.
can't see anything.
When stuff like this happens and the mom is missing and the dad's in jail, where do the kids go? I've always wondered this.
Well,
I'm assuming just like foster care or like
no.
would they automatically go to like the grandparents or
They're keeping very tight-lipped right now on where the
On where
kids
they are.
are.
Mhm.
We don't know, but typically they will go to a family member.
yeah. I was like when you used to do stuff like this, did you know where like where would they just shove them off anywhere? Or I was always wondering like usually where they go like if both parents are capacitated.
A family member usually steps up, and in this case, they were well off, and her mom is pretty heavily involved. She gave
Mhm.
a news
statement.
media
Mhm.
thing today,
Release.
so
Mhm.
Sorry, just a question.
yeah.
No, it is a good
No,
thought. I
it's
mean, there's 4 kids out there who
And if there is, and if there is no family and there's nobody willing to step up, yeah, sometimes they will go to foster care. CPS.
mhm. If they've got to step in, they've got to step in. But in this case, there's tons of family. As uncooperative as the husband is being, the rest of the family, including
Very.
his immediate family, are being very cooperative and condemning him. So
Yeah.
I'll bet those kids are safe and sound somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And when we would have somebody arrested in my previous line of work, they'd always bring their kids when they suspected they would be arrested.
Really?
And yes, all the time. It was especially moms. They would bring their kids, if they thought they may be arrested in office. And
Was the thought that they might not arrest me if my kids are there?
yeah,
Was
that's
it?
usually Oh, they're not going to arrest me if my kids are here with me. But no, you better call somebody, or
Yeah, you
I'm
better
gonna
have
call
a babysitter.
CPS.
Call your mom.
And they say, I don't have anybody. No. Okay, I'll call CPS. And I pick up that phone. Oh, they find somebody real quick to come get those kids. But that was a common thing.
Common.
Common.
One more
Hmm.
question before I got you guys
Yes.
continue. Since this just happened like last week, right?
hmm
So
October
like
6th
when
and 7th.
and when could say they decide to actually charge him, which could take a while. When realistically would this even see a courtroom? Like what, 2026?
Years.
Years.
Murder case, if it's a misdemeanor, if they keep it at a misdemeanor, it's going to be quicker. But murder cases are, they can, depending on if they charge capital, which that's going to be hard unless they find her. But
Was
if
there
they
the
do,
elements of capital, like
well, not really.
not really.
No, because it
It's pretty
wasn't.
straightforward.
Yeah, but it would be 3 years is a typical good time that'll go. I mean, he'll go in and out of court, pre-trials and so forth, but to actually go to trial or do a plea, it'd be years.
I imagine that's harder unless they find a body if she's even dead. I'm just saying just
It is harder.
It is. Yeah.
but
There's no proof
it's
of
been done.
anything. We don't know.
It's been done.
Mm-hmm.
They've convicted people. They may they've convicted them without a body, so it can be done.
A little trickier.
And they got witnesses on this, so
Yeah.
that's a little bit better.
But we're hoping that's not. I mean, I guess at this point, I would think she would have come forward. So my hope would change to I do hope that she turns up in some way so that people aren't wondering for forever what happened.
And like in most of our cases we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just speak up. Like, this isn't.
No, he's
This
not
isn't
going
shocking
to. He's
anybody
lawyered
anymore.
up. He will not speak.
You're dumb, Brad. You're dumb.
He will not talk. And he shouldn't.
I mean, I guess in
I mean,
that
he
way, he's
should,
smart,
but
ugh.
if he's going to protect his case, he shouldn't.
Right. Well, we'll see, and hopefully we'll have
That's
an
what I've always-
update.
That's what I've always taught my son.
Wouldn't that like go against the name of your show though?
What, Silent Witness?
Well, yeah,
it's
no,
silent, but
Well, witnesses.
if somebody spoke up.
Witnesses could tell us or could
Ah.
tell, but he's not going to. And
So-
just like some of our other cases when domestic violence has been involved, they're going to go to the grave with that.
Yeah.
I hope sooner.
This is you said this was the beginning of this month?
Yeah, October 6th.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
October 6th is when they fought, and then the 7th is when he reported her missing.
Wow. Okay.
And they're still
And-
searching daily for her
And
body.
how many kids?
4.
4 kids held?
I don't know the ages. They've been real
They got to
quiet.
be little, I would think, right?
Do what?
They're probably smaller kids,
Yes.
I would think.
Enough
right?
that the school had to call and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, dude, nobody picked
Yeah.
up your children."
Well, and you said CPS also, so I mean, if they're a little bit older, generally you can find some place for them to go. I would think small kids, they got to be taken care of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's,
All
Aw.
kids, this is
Hey,
hard.
You got sad all of a sudden.
it's very
it's
sad.
a tough one. This is it's a
It
very
is. It's
tough
very
one.
hard. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a lot. So we also were wanting to talk tonight about what October is, because every month has 5 million meanings behind it.
Yeah.
But in addition to the other ones, it's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
And so
and,
we're kind of,
yeah.
that's kind of our theme
It-
today.
yeah, we do. And we've discussed, and so there's several others. So subscribe and listen to the episodes. We will update you on Mrs. Simpson's case as soon as we can. Hopefully Brad rots in hell, because you're not really fooling anybody,
He
buddy.
is a scumbag.
Stupid Brad.
He was a realtor too, by the way.
I have no comment on that part. But yes, they did have the same profession.
Luxury real estate.
Ooh, fancy. You know how those people are.
Rich people.
But okay, so we hope to have an update on this case for you. But go back and listen to, we have 3 other prominent episodes.
So
Go ahead.
we reported kind of early on about a case, and I'm just going to give you summaries of these, and you can go listen to the little twists and turns. But
Mhm.
Beth Hicks was
Mhm.
a 36-year-old white female adult probation officer.
She
like
was. Just like you.
just like me.
Mhm.
She was employed by the 216th Judicial District in the same town as.
Is it the
your-
same town?
Yeah, it's in.
It's down in San
Borney.
Antonio?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I
Borney.
don't remember
Is
hers
that
being
how
down
we-
that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Hers was
say
down
any
there.
Texas towns.
Borney, born.
Mahia.
Huh?
Bernie.
Bernie. Listen, which is in Kendall County. Her body was discovered at 9:05 a.m. on Wednesday, 6/30, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
By her vehicle. Evidence at the scene and witness information suggested that Beth was attacked as she departed for work about 6:45 a.m. She was bludgeoned to death. Of course, the first thing they're going to look at is going to be her probationers. They
Mhm.
looked at that real closely. It wasn't, but she was engaged.
Mm-hmm.
The probationers that she supervised were ruled out.
They were.
She was engaged, so of course they're going to look at the fiance. And there's a twist in this: is that he was already married to somebody else.
Oh, whoops.
Whoops! So we're going to let you go listen to that episode.
I could have a podcast named Stupid Brad. I think my
Yes.
brother might object. That's his name, but it fits.
But go listen. Yeah, go listen to
Yeah,
that
listen to
episode.
Beth. That one was topsy turvy. I remember that one. I was shocked by a couple of things that you shared
Mhm.
because I just sit around and listen.
We also had a multi-episode on Shelley Watkins,
We did.
which I think
Ooh,
we
this
got
was money
some
too.
lovely emails about.
We got lovely emails about Shelly. I thought we only got.
I think,
Courtney
I
emails.
think Rogue did. They got
Oh,
one
yeah.
that said 3 episodes, really? No, next time we're going to do 10. How's that?
We're just gonna put a whole season to your family.
That's right.
Okay.
Shelley was last seen alive September 6, 1993
She
at
had
her
babies.
residence at
Mhm.
Beaton Lakes Estates, which is, it's near Corsicana. They're from Corsicana.
Hoity.
Yeah, they're rich folk.
Mhm.
Shelley's
folk.
body was discovered on the 13th of September 1993 by some fishermen in the Trinity River. She was wrapped in trash bags,
She was
cement
cinder
blocks. Yeah. Eventually, she was reported missing by her family. Her husband, Jerry, was initially arrested for this case.
Oh, this one makes me so mad.
But, you know, if you remember why charges were dismissed, it's because Mr. DA in Henderson County was taking bribes to dismiss cases.
Shocking.
So, yeah.
But you know, I'm so cynical, but that is shocking. Like, do your freaking job.
But there's greedy.
Well, and he had issues and needed that cash. So
Anyhow,
there's that too.
Well,
Gross.
so that did hurt the case, and you
Mhm.
know, and of course, the DA was eventually sent to prison. So go listen to that because there's a lot of twists and turns we go into at the very end with the police officer and Jerry,
Possible boyfriend,
and also the reason you want to go listen to it because I'm also going to explain why the family doesn't want this solved,
which I don't get. I really don't get that.
especially the kids.
The daughters.
do not want this solved.
If my daughters didn't go like full hog to try to figure out what happened to me, I would haunt them. I would scare the shit out of them every time I could.
Y'all go listen. That was a good one, I
I
hope.
would.
And then the last one I kind of want to bring up, Bianca Carrasco.
Yeah. Oh.
Beautiful. Also in the San Antonio area.
Oh, don't let. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Well, maybe not. I don't know. There's some beautiful spots down there.
She was a young mother of 3. She was a nurse.
She's a nurse. She was doing so good. This one makes me so mad because she worked so hard to get her
Mhm.
life on track.
She did.
Ugh.
She married a much older man, Joe Daniel Carrasco. And there's a lot of twists with him and the family.
Mhm.
I'll leave that out. Y'all can go listen. But
Mhm.
anyway, she was 18 when they're married, and he was 29.
That's so gross.
After 11 years of marriage, Bianca was ready to leave and begin a new life.
Mhm.
She was last seen on May 1st, 2016, leaving her home, her husband said on foot, and has not been seen since. Beautiful, gorgeous young woman. Just
She was.
stunning. Go listen for specific details on the case, especially regarding the husband and his creepy connection with the family prior to marrying Bianca and after she disappeared.
Oh yeah.
Remember who? he
Yes.
married? Yeah. Mm.
Blech. Like as the family, what?
While you
That
guys were
one is-
talking about it, and
I mean,
was
listen
cutting
if you
the
want
episode.
to. That
Yeah.
family
I was
pisses
going,
me off.
fuck
Listen
that
if you
guy.
can go.
Oh,
Every
make me mad.
5 minutes.
Apparently,
Absolutely.
everybody, all these stories
Yeah.
make me
To
and
be
he's
honest.
That's a good instinct you've got, Mason.
and
Fuck that guy.
fuck that guy.
Yeah,
That's right.
I say that a lot.
I love that.
Maybe that should have been the podcast name.
Fuck, fuck that murderer.
I can think of some episodes.
But yeah, so those are just a few of the cases we focused on since this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes.
We wanted to highlight these, and there's some more too that, you know, intimate partners or whatever. But
But I also want to highlight, like, we don't seek these out. This was never the intention behind it. The intention behind Silent Witness was to encourage people to come forward and call Crime Stoppers in the counties, the law enforcement agencies that are investigating still, or the
Yes.
rangers, whoever has jurisdiction over the case, and to get people to come forward with any tidbit. So not only are the stories interesting, but we'd really implore people to listen, because maybe you know somebody who knows somebody who knows something,
right,
and sharing this will help these families get closure.
right.
And our true hope is that Silent Witnesses
And, you
aren't
know,
silent.
and just being domestic violence awareness, we did want to
Mhm.
highlight these cases plus the one that you talked about. But,
Suzanne.
you know, because it affects, you know, it affects 10 million homes each year. Every minute in the United States, 20 people are abused by their intimate partner.
Ugh.
This is every minute. And it includes, you know, economic, physical, sexual, emotional. And we see in a lot of these cases that, you know, in Bianca's case,
Oh,
he
just
was
controlling.
controlling and, you know, so, you know, it's something that, you know, we need to highlight.
Mhm.
But because the cycle of abuse is generational, you
Mhm.
know, and it includes stalking, sexual, physical violence, psychological aggression, economic
Yeah.
control.
Oh
But,
yeah. You control the money. You control everything.
yeah, like in a lot of these cases. Shelley's too, you know,
Yeah.
and it goes all, and maybe they weren't being beat ongoing, but the control, the mental, you know.
Absolutely.
But, you know, if you know anything about these cases, definitely call the local police department, San Antonio. But if you know somebody that's being abused or you yourself are being abused, please contact 1-800-799-SAFE or your local police department.
Yeah.
Because when in the most dangerous time for somebody being abused, no matter what kind of abuse, is when they're leaving.
Yep.
So
That's when this all comes to a head. And also, if you are a friend with somebody who you suspect they might be going through something like this, don't take it personally if they've got what seems like a cold shoulder, or maybe they don't talk to you as much anymore. Stay connected.
yeah, do what this neighbor did in
Yeah.
your case.
Speak
and
up.
Speak up
Mhm.
for sure. But that's it.
That's what we've got.
That's it. That's all I've got.
All right. So, silent witness.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production. Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.